안녕하세요. 상하이드림봉사단에 소속되어 있고 상하이중학교에 재학 중인 좌예림입니다. 오늘 제가 말씀드릴 논문은 남북 고등과정 비교와 통일 이후의 교육정책 구상입니다. Education is one of the most fundamental societal issues in nowadays. It's very important because it leads people their lives by mingling in the society and make a cultural advancement. In order to unify the two opposite cultural systems of the nations into one, it's really important to acknowledge and accept the fact that we are different in terms of education. Nowadays, the society forces a rigid set of formula in terms of education and make the people put under the spell to prioritize the education first. In North Korea, the education system is highly based on Kim Jong-il's idolization. The North Korean government promotes the education in terms to idolize Kim Jong-il. This is in order to establish a succession regime. It is very important to consider a few characteristics of education in North Korea to study in order to unify in a profound way. First of all, the North Korea is strictly centralized. This means both teachers and students have minimum amount of power and rights accordance to the education system. And for instance, the teachers have lack of discretionary power and they're barely given. Furthermore, North Korea education system is highly based on the traditional subjects such as math, physics, biology, and geography, and they never provide political ideology in the textbook in any high school curriculum. Nowadays, the perspective changed, especially towards the education system. People nowadays think that the education not only contains math, biology, physics, or any kind of traditional subjects, but also includes music, ethics, world history, and entertainments and sports. After the Korean waves became prominent throughout the world, the Korean music, also called as K-pop, has been sporadic throughout the world. A few years ago, K-pop celebrities and singers have performed in North Korea. However, North Korean people showed indifferent reaction towards the performance and showed the lukewarm reactions. However, in order to solve this, in order to show this difference in musical subjects, it is very important to consider the uniformity of music subject of matter in music education. When you ask both North and South Korean which song could be unified in both North and South Korea, the answer converged into one, which is arirang. Arirang is a traditional music that both North and South Korean think as a very important musical study. Therefore, arirang could contain in the textbook or any kind of educational contents to show the uniformity of both North and South Korea. Furthermore, entertainment and sports is one of the subjects that is highly sporadic and throughout the world. This is shown in Olympics because all different kinds of athletes are gathered up in one place and they play sports and have a better communication within them. Therefore, education and sports could be also a very important factor of studies in terms of education. The subject of ethics is one of the most important factors to be considered as an education system. Both Koreans think that the moral or ethics is prioritized to be the first education study. Furthermore, ethics could bring people into one to be communicated as a meaning of humanity. Also, people might think that North and South Korean language is common. However, they have different kind of vocabulary, grammars, or conversational languages. In order to make them communicated more easily, they have to consider the common Korean language. After the division of North and South Korea, it's very important to think the cultural ideology and the difference between them, especially the education, because education is continued throughout the world and they will never stop. And therefore, in order to consider the unification or the post-unification, we have to consider the education as the most important factor.